What is going on, everybody? Mike D, aka Dead Cynic, coming at you with a live stream. Figured we would just take some time and chill for a little bit, hang out, and have a good time. Take a few shots, take a few dabs. I was debating on whether or not to make this like a conspiracy theory night or something like that, but my buddy Josh is having a birthday party tonight, and sounds like something's going down in the next bedroom. I think somebody may have taken the shelf down. But yeah, so we're just going to hang out for a little bit. I don't think we're going to do anything particular for this stream. I mean, we can definitely talk about stuff. If you guys have a particular subject that you want to discuss or cover, I'm kind of, you know what they're doing is they're fucking around with the Nerf guns. So my buddy Josh, something he's taken a lot of interest in has been modding Nerf guns, and he's done like 3 or 4 so far, and they've come out pretty dope. And I think that's what's happening right now, is there's somebody getting fired on with the Nerf gun. But anyway, before we get started with tonight, because depending on what we talk about, I'm sure I'm going to offend somebody, let's go ahead and throw my tenets out there for everyone. First, I'm not here to be politically correct. I'm not going to say things that everyone agrees with. I'm not here to be everybody's friend. I ain't no fucking cartoon character. So now that we got that out of the way, I hope that you guys are all having a great weekend. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out with me. I think that we're just going to chill for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, see where it goes from there, take some shots, take some dabs, and just enjoy the evening. So much love to all of you guys. And again, thank you for hanging out. Let's go ahead and take a nice fat dab. Got some pretty dope stuff coming in the mail. Actually hoping it'll be here this week. Pretty sure it will be. And if that's the case, we will be doing the live stream with Brother Bingus this coming week. I was planning on doing the unboxing on a live stream with him on his channel. So if you guys want to see the stuff that I am expecting in the mail, just make sure that you are subscribed and tuned in, and we will be doing an unboxing on his channel sometime next week. Chef Life. And you know what? I apologize because I did say Friday. I just got really busy yesterday and I was not able to stream. So I figured if I can't do it on Friday like I said I was going to, I'm going to do it the next day. So I do apologize because I did say Friday. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it Friday this week. So just came the next available day. All right. Nice fat dab of some GMO cookies. Nice little cross there. Yeah, hope you're doing good, Chef Life. Much love to you. Let's go ahead and take this dab. I think that's how we'll start off tonight. We'll take the dab first, and then we will take a shot to celebrate Brother Josh's birthday, and to just kick off the night. We got us a bottle of really good whiskey, and yeah, I mean, if anybody has any topics they would like to discuss or anything that they want to throw out into the chat, you guys are more than welcome. Again, I'm just going to be chilling here for a little bit, kind of doing my thing, and hanging out with you guys. So, yeah. Chef Live, totally down, fam. Let's go ahead and take this dab first, since we already packed it. Just need to clean up this banger just a tiny bit. And you know, I will say I've been a little bit disappointed lately with people that have been hitting me up on emails And it's not even people, actually, it's companies. Like I got hit up by Quav Club, and they wanted to send me a banger so that I could do a review, and I imagine they were going to send me one for free. When I specified which one I actually wanted, which was an 18 millimeter male, and that's the thing, is it's expensive. It's as expensive as anything else that they have on their website. They were just like, we'll get back to you. And it's like, you guys hit me up, so I don't know why now you're making this a weird thing. Like, I don't know if we could do that. And that's what I've been noticing, is that a lot of places, when they hit you up for like sponsorship, what they're hoping is that you're going to buy their stuff. Not necessarily that they're going to sponsor you, but that you're going to buy their shit and then rep them on top of that. And it's amazing how one-sided this community can be sometimes. Because that's kind of the sponsorship that I've been approached with on a large scale. Not everyone does it, but most people do it. They're like, so we'll give you like a coupon code or something like that, and maybe you'll get a little bit of money if like enough people buy this stuff in enough time, because sometimes you only get like a month. They'll go month by month and it won't carry over. So let's say that you had 10 people buy a product, and that puts so much money towards what you would get if you were to make enough, and then you don't make it for that month, they're not going to transfer that over to the next month. You just lose it. So it's a very one-sided situation with stuff like that, and I think it's amazing how it works out in the company's favor. And that's why you don't see me sponsored by anybody. That's why if you see me reviewing something, it's something that I bought. I spent my own fucking money on, because there has yet to be an offer that is like, you know what, that's actually worth my time of putting in to make. Because I don't think people understand that it takes time and it takes effort to make content. And besides the time and effort, you're putting your brand, your face, your kind of reputation behind things that you represent. So if your brand and or your reputation is something that's important to you, then you're very careful about what you choose to represent, which I am. All right, 3 homies in the chat. What's going on, 3 homies? Hope you guys are all having a great night. I'm a couple of dabs in. I want to say this is going to be like dab number 6 or 7 for today, which is a little bit more than I normally take like on a daily basis, but I've had a lot of company. And it's weird how it works out, because for a while I won't get any visitors, and then in like a 2 to 3 day span, everyone that can possibly visit me that's close enough will be like, hey, what are you doing? And it's like, fuck. So my life is kind of strange that way, because, and I was just telling my girlfriend about this, because she's like, I'm glad you're being social. It's like, you know what? People hit me up. I'm not the kind of person that's like, hey, come over. Like, people will hit me up, and it's just weird, because when they do, it's like all at once, and everyone wants to talk on the same day or like hang out on the same day, and it's fucking weird. But yeah, it's weird how that works out. And I was telling her, it's funny because I don't try and work it out that way. It's just, that's what happens. Like, I don't go out of my way to invite everyone on the same day. It's just everyone gets that same wild hair up their ass, and they're just like, I'm gonna call Mike. But that's cool. You know, it's nice to have that much company in like a short span of time, because it's nice to see everybody, you know, because a lot of those people know each other. So, you know, friends come by and be like, you know, it's funny because so-and-so was just here, and be like, oh yeah, how are they? So it's neat because I can kind of catch people up on what other people are doing. And yeah, it's just interesting. My social circle is interesting how it all comes together. Well, let's go ahead and take this dab, guys, and then we will take the first shot of the night. I am working with some 100 proof bourbon from Smoke Wagon right here. This is it's actually not much left in this bottle. There's maybe like 2 or 3 shots left in here. And I do have another bottle of this, but I want to save it. I need to cut back on how much I drink at one time sometimes. So we're only going to take like 2 or 3 shots tonight. And I think we should be able to get all 3 of them out of this bottle. I'm not positive, but we should be able to. Anyway, let's go ahead and warm up this nail. Take a couple dabs, take a couple shots, and chill. What I was thinking about doing was making this a conspiracy theory night and talking about giants specifically, because I think that giants are a very interesting topic, and it's neat because it's a very prevalent topic in all cultures on Earth. If you look into hey, my little brother, what's going on, sir? Dead Zaku in the house. You got here just in time, brother. We were about to take the first dab of the night, and then I was going to pour up a shot, and we're going to take a shot. I was trying to figure out whether or not to make this like a conspiracy theory night, but whether it is or not, I mean, we can talk about whatever the fuck we want. So I was going to touch on like giants and how it's an interesting thing that almost all cultures around the world have myths that involve giants, and that there's evidence all around the world, like historical evidence of shit that's too big for us to use, and it's all over the place. And I'm talking about anything from tools to weapons to stuff like bathtubs. We found huge carved fucking bathtubs where really that's the only thing it could be, and it would be for a giant. Stuff is all over the world, and it's very interesting. And even so, aside from tools, different things that we found that would imply that there are giants, then there's the bones. There's bones just throughout America's history alone. They used to publish that shit in newspapers, but it hasn't really happened as much or as often anymore, and if it does, it's probably not publicized. But it used to get put in newspapers all the time, with people digging up giant bones in their backyards or in this excavation. So it's definitely it's definitely around, and the evidence is there no matter what part of the world you're in, which is very interesting because Med THC Ontario, what's going on, fam? There are certain myths that are area specific and they kind of apply to just that culture. But then you have stuff that is kind of universal, like certain myths, like the flood myth, like giants. So it's interesting. And the more you look into that stuff, it comes down to me, how versed you are in ancient culture, and even how versed you are in the Bible. Because whether you want to believe it or not, the Bible is a historical book as much as it is a religious book. And a lot of, basically all of the shit that goes down in there, most of it has been established by other sources as having historically happened. Joe Martinez says coast to coast nights, those were good times. But yeah, there's a lot of evidence out there to suggest that Dead Zaku says cultures reference Noah's flood a lot as well. Oh yeah, and that's so, again, it's interesting that even though you may have names changing slightly here and there, general myths about how the world was formed and certain heroes of our ages and all that kind of stuff, that remains pretty much the same. It's just little details that get tweaked here and there. And my particular opinion, you guys might not agree with this, but that's okay, because we're all adults. We should be able to agree and disagree with each other and still be able to hold a conversation with each other. My belief on that is, well, we won't get into it. Let's take this dab instead, because this isn't a conspiracy theory night. We'll touch on things here and there, but we won't get super into stuff. But it is interesting when you look into myths, when you look into how similar things are throughout the world. For me, you can reference it to one particular thing, and that would be the Tower of Babel. The reason, and that's, I said I wasn't going to get into it, but we'll touch on it real quick. So Jesse says, yo, I looked into the giants and only the Greek Septuagint calls them giants. The Jews don't take them as giants, but as rulers. And so, Jesse, the semantics are there, definitely. But the problem that you have with that is that there are other figures in the Bible that are historically referenced as giants, like Gog and Magog, like Goliath. Goliath wasn't just a large Philistine, he was a giant. And he had a brother. Actually, I think he had more than one brother, and they were giants. So the thing is that aside from, let's say that your claim is true, and that as far as, so the Greek Septuagint calls them giants. I would trust the Septuagint though, so I'm not exactly sure what the argument is, because there's always going to be people that argue over like small specifics. But here's the thing: does that narrative fit with the rest of the book? Because there are other figures in the account of the Bible in its entirety where you have reference to giant humans. Now, whether they're specifically called giants or not is kind of irrelevant, because just the way that they're described in their stature compared to men, when the Jews went into the Holy Land and they saw giants, it wasn't a metaphor when they said we were like grasshoppers in their sight. It wasn't like they saw people they were scared of and they became small, because that's the argument that I've heard, is that it's like an allegory, and when they saw how fierce those everyone was in the valley, they became scared, and so they thought they were small. No, they were actually like grasshoppers compared to these giants that they found, because it wasn't just giant people. They brought back giant grapes and fruit and shit as proof. So it's not just in the semantics of, oh, they used this word, they didn't use this word. There's complete stories and scenarios centered around the fact that these supernatural things happen. And it wasn't just, I'm not just talking about giants. I'm talking about divine intervention. We're talking about spirits being able to be seen and touched and felt, and eating with people that, there's a whole story about the angels that visited the prophet that was living in Sodom and Gomorrah before they burned it down. I forget the prophet's name. That's totally my bad. I'm sure my little brother will remember. But there's all of these stories that you could call stories and allegory and stuff like that, but the truth is Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. It's still destroyed to this day. Nothing even grows there. So you can take it at face value and you can see it for what it is, which is a historical event, or you can try and say that the people didn't really understand, so they were just trying to come up with terms, or it's a myth. But the thing is the myth has evidence. So if it has evidence and historical evidence, then how is it really a myth? It sounds more like history. Lot, that was his name. All right. But yeah, and so Jesse, I'm not, to your point, I get it that is an argument, but just because there are arguments doesn't mean that they're necessarily the most sound. So yes, it could be true that this or that version doesn't refer to them that way, but I would just be careful not to fall into that trap, because there's a lot, like, people say that the different translations of the Bible don't really matter, and I disagree with that. I think that the version of the Bible that you read is kind of important, because maybe you only change one word in the Bible, but let's say that word is Jesus. That's pretty fucking important. So you got to be careful when it comes to how people interpret stuff, and I understand that's part of your comment, is that they don't even call them giants in that version. but it's pretty widely recognized that giants exist. So outside of even that one document, I'm not trying to argue the point of whether or not they're there. I'm just saying it's good to look into. But yeah, 6 homies in the chat. Let's go ahead and let's take the shot first, because the dab takes me a second. Or you know what we'll do? We'll warm up the nail while we're waiting for the nail to cool down. We will take the shot. Dead Zaku saying, not all Bibles are the same. This keeps coming up in my study because I read the King James Version. People notice missing verses in their versions. Absolutely, brother. And it's not, so even outside of shit straight up missing, then you have, little changes. And again, they don't have to be big changes, but you don't necessarily have to change a lot in a verse to change the message of the verse or to change the implied meaning of the verse. And that's what's scary, because if you're altering what people get out of the passage by how you're changing it, that's bad. You don't change God's word. There's nothing that we need to add or take away, and I'm pretty sure that there's actually rules for that anybody that adds or takes away from the book has their own little special place in hell. So it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. But anyway, let's go ahead and warm up this nail, and then as it is cooling down, we will take a shot. And if any of you guys want to talk about anything in particular, I am down. Jesse says there are only 2 references to Nephilim in Genesis and the grasshopper one you mentioned. It could be metaphorically bigger. Goliath, I hear, was 9 feet, which is big, but not giant. Which again, I get, but that's the thing, is he's not the only giant that's in the Bible. The other one that I referenced was Gog and Magog. I do believe that there was another one that they referenced where his bed was really big, but I cannot remember his name. Having said that, as far as, so what I would say about that, Jesse, is because there are only 2 references, does that mean that they don't exist? It should only take 1 reference. If it's in there and it's supported by other stuff, which it actually is, there's extra biblical sources that talk about the Nephilim. So if the Bible isn't the only place that you find it, and it is referenced, how many references would it take in order for you to be convinced that they're real? 10? 15? I don't necessarily understand what your argument is as far as that is concerned. So what if there's only 2? The fact that there's 1 should be like, what is that? I've never really understood that argument, to be honest. We got some lo-fi in the back. We got a party going on in the rest of the house. The homie that I live with, my brother Josh, is his birthday today. So we got some friends and some family outside chilling. Everybody's having a good time. I'm kind of a private guy, so I gave him a hug and told him, my boy, I wished him a happy birthday. I need to get him something good, because I've lived with him for a couple of years now, and he's a really good guy. All right. Puts up with my crazy ass. So we got some Smoke Wagon bourbon. This is the small batch. This is 100 proof. And I guess the other argument that I would make, which is kind of why the line of reasoning that I follow, is you have to, as far as the giant thing, when I'm talking about giants, it's kind of like a catch-all term for larger, hi Spy, what's going on? For larger humans that were part of a subbreed of human. Because when I say giants, I'm talking about the Nephilim, which Jesse also referenced. And the thing is like I was saying before, whether it's referenced 20 times or whether it's referenced one time, the fact that it's referenced should be important enough. And the thing is it fits in the narrative with the rest of the story, because there's other places where supernatural humans or hybrid type entities are involved in the story of the Bible. So it's not something that's out of place. Now, just because the word may be only used this many times, okay, but the thing is they're in there. That was actually the reason why God sent the flood in Noah's time, is because people were fucking with genes and making all these weird hybrid things. Part of the immorality of humans is always going to be sexual in the nature and also violent. So there was that stuff too, but it was also a crossing of God's boundaries, like with genetics. Chef Life says, "Spy, cheers, getting hated on other channels. Chill channel." I'm not exactly sure what that's in reference to, if Miss High Spy is getting hate or if Chef Life is, but yeah. Mostly everyone is welcome here. As long as you don't start any problems, we're all good. I try and be patient and open-minded with people, but sometimes people are just fucking assholes. Anyway, let's go ahead and take this dab. Yeah, Miss High Spy is curious too. She's like, wait, you? Me? What's happening right now? So, all right, we're both a little lost. Let's go ahead and take this dab. What? Who's hating on High Spy? Can't hate on High Spy. She's the homie. All right, clarification time. So, some asshole named Hamilton. He's a hater. Well, I don't know anything about this situation, so that's all I'm going to say about it. But yes, thank you, Chef Life. I appreciate being considered a chill channel. I do try. 10 homies in the chat. What's going on, 10 homies? So we were discussing giants. Jesse brought up some good points. I think I brought up some good points as well. My little brother brought up a good one. He says, if you take things metaphorically, and I think this especially applies to the Bible, where does that stop? You'd be picking and choosing. A good rule for study is take every verse literally, and if you can't apply it literally, then take it spiritually, which I think is also a good idea. People like to say that the Bible is mostly allegory and metaphor, but that's not true. And if you apply it literally, most of the time you can. There are some times where you do have to take it as, oh, this is a poem, this is a metaphor. But usually if you let the Bible speak for itself, it'll be pretty blatant about that. I think what some people have an issue is they want to pick and choose which parts of the spirituality of the Bible they would like to accept. Like, it's cool for God to do miracles and for angels to exist and all that kind of shit, but tampering with genes and making genetic hybrids and angels having sex with humans and making giants, I don't like that. I don't want that spiritual stuff. And I think that if you are on a search for truth, then you have to accept the entirety of the truth. Picking and choosing is the same as living in a lie. Like you have to take it all, or just fucking admit that you don't want any of it. That's kind of how I look at it. Okay. So apparently, High Spy has beef with this Hamilton character. And all I'm going to say about that to Miss High Spy and to anybody that's involved in social media, and especially Miss High Spy, because I know that she actually comes into contact with a lot of different people because she's very active. It's okay to call people a social media friend and not an actual friend. It's okay to call someone a follower and not an actual friend if you don't really know them and they're always on your shit liking you. Like, it's okay to have boundaries and borders and to differentiate people, because not everyone is our friend on here. And yeah, so we're gonna take this shot, we're gonna take the first shot of the night. I don't know what the beef is, but I know for the most part, High Spy's been super cool with me, and she's never started any problems here. So as far as I'm concerned, until I hear different, fuck Hamilton. So that's what we're taking this shot for. And High Spy, like I'm not asking you to explain. You don't have to go into it. I'm just having fun because this is my channel. So hey, this is always going to be a safe haven for people as long as they don't start problems. So, let's take a shot and pack another dab and talk about some shit. And Jesse, I will absolutely agree that context is king, and that's why you have to be careful with people that like to quote verses, because a verse by itself, out of context of the rest of the book or the message that it's a part of, can be twisted to say fucking anything. So if somebody starts quoting a verse, ask them if they can actually recite the entire psalm or the entire passage, or if they remember the entire story, because that verse may be something completely different in the context of the story than how they're trying to use it in their argument to make it seem like the Bible says anything or says exactly what they want it to say. So, yep. Take a shot. Fuck you, Hamilton. Fuck you. You hear me? Eat a dick. All right. We're gonna move on. We're gonna pack another dab. We're gonna hang out, chill, and have a good time. 12 homies in the chat. What's going on, 12 homies? So we went from and I actually think that this is a valid conversation. It's actually a really good conversation to have. Is we moved from certain things like the possibility of stories of the giants being myth and allegory versus being reality, onto how much of the Bible should you consider metaphor, which my little brother brought up a good point, saying, honestly, you shouldn't think of any of it as metaphor unless there's no way you can apply it literally. I think that that's a good point. And I think that another thing people should start doing, if you have never looked at the Bible as a historical book, I think that you should start doing that, because there's a lot of things that are in the Bible that have happened historically which are cited by other things. So, Chef Life. Yes, Smoke Wagon Bourbon. This is small batch. It is 100 proof. Like the wild turkey that I drink, this is distilled out of Las Vegas. So this is from a Nevada distiller. Yep, there it is right there, Vegas. Ooh, yeah. And I will admit, it's really fucking smooth. So the thing that I keep hearing, which I agree with completely, is like wild turkey. Wild turkey is kind of sweet on the onset, and then you get the burn as it's going down. Like the after, you get fumes almost. Like you feel like you're breathing gasoline and shit. And it's an interesting feeling if you don't drink a whole lot. But like people that I give shots of wild turkey to, they're like, "Oh, what is this? What?" And what I will say about Smoke Wagon is that the spice is more on the front end, but it's such a smooth finish. It's nice, and it's almost like a spiked sweet tea. And it's really easy to drink, so I gotta be careful because I opened this. Let's see, today is Saturday. I opened this on like Thursday, and I only have like 2 shots left. Bud King, what's going on, fam? Let's see. Dead Zaku says, did you have an issue with receiving whiskey from a company? So it wasn't. It was a bottle of this that I ordered, but it wasn't from this company because. How can I explain this? So when these guys first got started, they weren't big enough to distribute bottles themselves. So they would distribute to third-party vendors that I would buy from. And one of those vendors, yes, basically just fucking shit all over the bed. And I got it eventually, but it was way longer than it was supposed to be. And I got no communication at all, like ever. I kept emailing them like, hey, am I even getting something? And I never got a response. So my experience with that place was fucking horrible. I think it was Chips Liquor, and I'm never going to order from them again. And they're here in California too, so fuck them. If that's the one, I'm not exactly I'm 90% sure that that's them. But if it's not, then that's my bad, and I apologize. But yeah, God, that was a fucking nightmare. Thankfully, these guys are big enough now to where they can distribute themselves, so I can actually buy this directly from the distiller that makes it. I don't have to go through a third-party vendor anymore, and that makes it way easier and a lot less stressful. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to talk about, which actually has to do with giants, is the tribes with the elongated skulls. So to any of you guys watching right now, and I was actually just telling I had 2 people visit me today. The last one that just left, I showed him that book, and I was telling him, when you look into tribes that, like, let's say that you look into a tribe where elongated skulls were a thing, you have to differentiate between 2 separate tribes. There was a tribe of people naturally born with elongated skulls, and then there were tribes who came after that who deformed their children's skulls to make them elongated. And there's an important differentiation between those 2 tribes of people. The original tribe that was born with the elongated skull also had increased brain mass along with that fucking elongated skull. So it served a purpose. They actually were smarter, or at least they had more brain mass, which could mean a variety of different things. And it may sound weird to the people watching, but we're talking about X-Men shit. Like, with that increased brain mass, depending on which part was bigger, maybe they had pronounced psychic powers or some weird shit, which is why they were worshipped, and people would deform the skulls of their children to try and idolize and imitate these earlier tribes. And again, the reason why it's important to differentiate between the 2 is because the first tribe was naturally born that way. The people that came after that deformed their heads or their children's heads to be elongated. that did not increase the size of their brain mass, or anything like that. It was literally just a deformity in honor of other people. So it's important to make that differentiation, but it's also very interesting because, again, why would you do something like that? And part of it was because those people, there was something different about them. They were special in some way. All right. So yeah, that's and so this is a book that I have not even started yet, and it's thick. I got so much other shit to read, but I've been meaning to get into this because, just like we were talking about earlier, this says the Encyclopedia of Ancient Giants in North America. This is a pretty thick book, and this is only covering North America. There's the other myths in the rest of the fucking world. And not even myths, then you have like just everything else. But yeah, there's a lot of research to be done. I got a lot of stuff to read, and that's the thing, is it doesn't ever stop. I'm always trying to add to the bookshelves, and that shelf right there, that very top shelf, that's the only shelf that has, well, I take it back. There's two fiction shelves. That shelf is specifically for fiction. This shelf right here is specifically for graphic novels. So, like, I have, for people that don't really like to read or have never read the Bible before, I actually have, where is it? It's right here. It's the Action Bible. So that's a comic book version of some of the best stories of the Bible condensed down into a volume that I can give to somebody and be like, here, you lazy fuck, read this, and if you think this is cool, maybe you should get the full-size version and try that out. And I get, like, it's been weird because everyone that I give that to is like, dude, those stories are crazy. That's in the Bible? And it's like, that's why you need to read this motherfucker, because that stuff is in there and then some. So maybe you should get to that. And it's always, like, it's funny because it's kind of like my passion for glass. Like, it's cool to see that light bulb go off in people, and to have, like, the guy that was just here that I was talking to about fucking all kinds of crazy shit, because he thinks that the stuff that I research is dumb until I start talking to him about it, and then he's like, well, wait, pull that up, and I want, what the fuck are you talking? And then I start showing him, and he's like, dude, that's crazy. And I was like, you said it was stupid a minute ago. He's like, well, this is crazy. So there's a lot of people that I get them interested in this stuff just by showing them that it exists, because they don't understand the kind of stuff that some of us research. And I think it's important on the level, and I have to remember this myself, to remain patient. When you're trying to explain to people the things that you look into, especially if you do it as often as some of us do, like High Spy, I know you probably always have your nose in a book, or you're always looking up something, because we were on a similar wavelength, and we are truth seekers. So it's hard to quiet that down. But yeah, let's take another shot. My little brother says, you ought to read Judges if you want to read some crazy shit. There is some gnarly stuff in there. Absolutely, brother. And just, it's a gnarly book. It's a gnarly book. One of the best, I think, what is it? It's an acronym that they call them. One of the best acronyms that I have ever seen given to the Bible is Basic Instructions Before Leaving Earth, which is, it's pretty awesome. Chef Life says, so much info you throw out on random topics. It's great, man. That's the shitty thing, is that I know a little bit about everything. I don't, I know, what is it that I used to tell people? I know a little bit about a lot, and I know a whole lot about nothing. That's some real shit. And so, Chef Life, because I'm compartmentalized. I don't, like, these things that I talk about, I know about them because I research them, and there's a lot of stuff that I don't know about. I suck at math. Don't ask me nothing that has to do with math, nothing that's involved with math. There are things that I've looked into that have to do with basic math that I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I kind of try and stick to that. But there's things that I know hardly anything about. So I'm never going to claim to be, well, I'm definitely not dumb, but I'm never going to claim to be like a genius or like I know a lot about a lot of stuff. I look into things here and there, and I like to read. That's one thing that I will admit, and people that know me in my personal life, they know that I like to read. So, there's a reason why I got a bookshelf behind me and 2 bookshelves next to me. And that shit's almost fucking full too. Both of my bookshelves are almost full now, so I gotta start thinking about what I'm gonna do when I get more books, because it never stops. If you're a book collector, you're just always collecting books. But Chef Life, as long as I can give you something to think about, and the rest of the people that watch this stream, whether it's right now or after the fact, as long as I can give you guys something to think about, and I kind of scratch the inside of your brain matter, and I just make you go, and make you look up shit after you're done watching this, you know what? That's what I want, is I just want to inspire other people to engage in the same kind of shit that me and my family do, because my little brother is in here and he does the same kind of hunting for the truth that I do. He knows the Bible very well, and we talk about shit all the time that has to do with the different stories and the themes, because that's the thing, is if you read the Bible, you'll notice that there's themes and there's characters that are set into those themes. So you'll see people that are kind of motivated by the same stuff, the same spirit, you might even say, throughout that book. And it's just about paying attention. So, yeah, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I don't know about everything, but you know what? The things that I do look into and the things that I think are important, I do try and be knowledgeable about, because one of the best quotes that I ever heard, and I think this was from Albert Einstein, but it was something along the lines of, if you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, then you don't understand it. So being able to have the conversation with people that maybe might know nothing about what you're about to speak of, and being able to at least give them a pretty good view of it to where they can understand it, is important. And I don't want to, there's a lot of people that get on social media and they get on these live streams and they just talk a bunch of shit and they do dumb shit. If we're going to have a night like this where we're going to talk about stuff, I would rather give you guys things that, again, when you're not here, like you're like, what was that thing Cynic was talking about? And you look it up and you're like, holy shit. And you find something that you get interested in and you start researching. That's what I'm working on. That's what I want to happen, because I just want people to think more. That's really what it comes down to. I fucking want people to think more. And not just think more. I want people to fucking read. Buy a book. Like, I want somebody to be watching my stream and to see me do this and to be like, wow, what is that book? The Encyclopedia of Ancient Giants in North America? I'm going to get that book. Like, it would be awesome to have a discussion one day with someone who bought one of the books that they see in my bookshelf or that I recommended because they actually went and bought it and read it. That would be an amazing conversation. But yeah, I'm hoping that shit like that happens. I just want people to think more. If I can get you to be like, scratch your head a little bit and be like, I'm going to look into that. If I can just get you to question something, I did my job. But I just want people to think. We made a habit of letting the times think for us. Our devices think for us. We live in these fucking filter bubbles where there's plenty of stuff that we don't see just because we don't normally search for it. So we don't get presented with real news because that's not something that we look up. And it's crazy. Like, the world isn't always pretty, but it's a good idea to try and be in touch with what's going on, with how things are playing out, where you are in the universe. Like, there's a lot of things that I would think people should consider important that we don't really consider anymore, because the only thing people really give a fuck about anymore is the daily grind. How am I going to pay my mortgage? How am I going to take care of this car payment? How am I going to make sure that I can pay for that fucking, I don't know, whatever payment that I got to make this month? Like, we get so caught up in this artificially created life that men have arranged for us that we forget that there's a more natural life where there's more to things than what we are presented as a social norm, and there's more to life than what we have accepted as this is what I need to do to be successful in life. Being successful in life isn't having a 9-to-5 and having a family and, having a 2-car garage and getting, that's cool and everything, but that's not the goal of life. Like, some people live by themselves and they just have animals. Some people live off the grid and they just fucking live out in the forest and they do their hunter-trapper thing. Like, I don't know. It's okay to be different, and it's okay to not be accepted by the social norm. Like, it's okay to live a life that people don't understand. And the older that I get, the more I realize that that's something that you really have to be okay with if you're going to accept yourself as a person, is that there's always going to be somebody who's not happy with what you're doing, or thinks you're doing the wrong thing, or thinks you're wasting your time, or blah fucking blah. There's always going to be something. So do what makes you happy. Do what you think is important. Do what you think is worthwhile. And when you do it well and take it seriously and fucking give it, if you're going to do it well. Let's go ahead and take shot number 2. We will pack another dab. We will hang out for a little bit. We're coming up on an hour. I was going to stay for about an hour and a half. So when we come up to an hour and a half, I will see how you guys are feeling. If you guys want to stick around, maybe we'll hang out for 2 hours. I don't know. But for right now, we're hanging out. I think that we're having some pretty good conversation. Thank you guys for chilling with me and dealing with my crazy ass and all the gnarly things that spew out of my mouth hole. I know sometimes, depending on your thought process, it may be hard to make sense of the shit that I say, but I promise, if you watch more than once, or if you really try and digest what I'm saying, it'll make sense. It'll make sense. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now, and we're going to drink some whiskey. Oh, it is very smooth. Seriously, it's like spiked sweet tea. The ginger ale is just a nice little flourish at the end. Honestly, you don't really... And when I give people shots of this whiskey, that is actually a compliment that I get about the brand. It's like, you do have a little bit of bite to it, but that's something that you could drink with no chaser. And when you serve somebody a bourbon whiskey and they say that's a smooth ass fucking whiskey. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of bourbons that bring that spice, and when you drink it, you gonna want yourself a fucking chaser. So to be able to serve somebody some bourbon and then be like, wow, I don't really know if I need a chaser after that, that's some good bourbon. Anywho, I'm going to go ahead and put this book of We got Leah Monkey's mama in the house. What's going on, cuz? Hope you're having a great night. Much love to you and Miss Leah and the rest of the fam. Hope everyone is doing well. Thank you guys for tuning in. We were talking about quite a few things. So we started on, you know what, that second shot just hit me. I'm not really sure what we started on, but we were discussing giants. We were talking about the Bible, whether or not you should consider things metaphorically or literally in the Bible. Jesse says, dabbing on some Cali Stripe, best for the buck, highly recommended. That's what's up, fam. Take a nice fat dab. Dead Saku says, turkey is something else. Yes, sir. And that's what I normally drink on the regular. All right, let me put this book back. And here's something that I will share with you guys is, and so little brother, I don't ever want to worry you. So I'll preface with this because you'll probably understand this better than everyone else watching unless they do the same kind of research we do, in which case whoever's listening will understand it. But I have in my collection of books grimoires of black magic and very detailed old school shit of like how precisely to carve certain symbols into your altar so that you have this and this experience. And what I will say about that is everything that I have as far as the occult world and the esoterica of what's out there, that's for research purposes only, so that I understand the weapons and the different machinations of the people that I may be dealing with or talking to about certain stuff. Because when you talk to somebody about things like spirituality, it's very important on some level to know what people are talking about if they believe something different than you do, because terms get switched around, things get, and so the best example that I could use is like a Christian and a Buddhist talking to each other. Resurrection and reincarnation are two very different things, but said in passing, if you're not really paying attention, you might mistake one for the other. And so the Buddhist might say something about reincarnation and the Christian will just nod their head because they think that it's similar to resurrection, and it's not. And so one of the things that I like to do is, Didzaku says, I'd get some for research purposes only stickers. Dog, that's actually a really good idea. And there's a couple of books that I would slap that on. But you have to, or heresy stickers like from Warhammer. Dude, like I have the fucking Forbidden Astartes Bible. But yes, so the reason why I say that to you guys is because I want to show you something. Now, as far as the world of occultism and esoterica, people that practice black magic, they don't think that they're really doing anything wrong. And part of the reason for that is because they pervert concepts and terms. And one of the things is like this right here. This is a book called The Holy Guardian Angel. And this is a book which talks about the experience of conversation and gaining knowledge from your holy guardian angel, which happens to be, as Aleister Crowley put it, one of the main objectives of a magus. When you get into occult magic, basically your main goal is to make contact with your holy guardian angel and to speak to it. And hopefully what I'm going to say is obvious to the rest of you. But what I think is funny is that these occult practitioners are talking about this entity like it's a holy guardian angel. That's literally what the name of the fucking book is. But I'm going to hold this up closer to the camera. So, as you can see, the figure has... Here, let's... The central figure has a pair of horns. They're surrounded by snakes. Snakes are fucking everywhere. And also, this particular guardian angel has hooves. So in occultism and black magic, this right here, this is a guy that you want to contact and have a conversation with. That's what they teach you. And I think that's strange. And I think that it's weird that people get sucked into actually performing those rituals and, you know, getting into those situations. And what I'm going to say to anybody watching right now, there's 13 homies in the chat. If you guys don't think that that stuff is real, I would just caution you, don't test it. Just be like, you know what, that shit is all fucking bullshit, and laugh at it. But don't ever be like, that shit isn't real, I'm going to do it to prove it's not real. Because I guarantee you there's a reason why people have been doing these things for thousands of years and writing it down for other people to also imitate. It's not just that it's one big hoax and nothing worse. Something happens. Sometimes there are things that step through, and you don't want to accidentally be part of that ritual, because things will attach themselves to you that you may not understand and you may not have the power to make go away. So you just have to be, again, really careful when you even read shit like that. And honestly, like, my library, when I get black magic or occult books like that, I pray over them. And I make sure that I make it well understood that I'm not going to use any of the rituals or incantations that are in this book. It is simply so that if I'm talking to somebody that has done this shit, they might try and get one over on me, but you know what? I know the ritual that you did because I read about it. I got the same fucking book, homie. So let's be honest. You do have to sacrifice an animal if you're going to call this entity. It's not something where you just throw some bones around. No, you actually got to fucking kill something right there. Like, there's shit like that comes into those conversations that it's really important to be aware of what certain people believe. And that's the thing, is that there's a lot of times where people are going to try and slide by on you and be like, oh, what I do isn't this and this way how people see it, because what they're hoping is that you don't know the intricacies of their faith and you don't know how they actually look at outsiders and how they're supposed to present a narrative. Because there's a lot of beliefs where it's actually okay to more or less lie so that you make your shit look better than it is. It may not seem that way, but it is. I mean, shit, in Islam they call it taqiyya. It's like holy lying. As long as you are lying for the betterment of Islam, go for it, dog. And what's the point? Who even cares if you're lying to heathens anyway? So say whatever you want to a non-believer. And that's some weird, that's some not good shit. When you have a belief that's just like, if they're an unbeliever, fuck them. That's all bad. And I tell you what, there's a lot of religions that are like that, more than you think. But MedTHC Ontario, great point. Knowledge is power. It's all about the research. There's so many different things that people could look into. There's so much shit that I don't even know about. So, you know, it all depends on what interests you. It all depends on what do you think is cool? What do you want to look up, look into, research more, find out more about? Because one thing that I'll say is, when I was in school, I fucking hated history, because everything that they were teaching me was kind of dumb shit that I didn't really need, or it was a lie. So as I got older and I started looking into ancient history and how the world really is, I really built up like a very big fondness for history. But it had nothing to do with school. That was after I got out of school and I was able to look up actual history and look into things that actually interested me. And it wasn't just, this is what you need to regurgitate on the test 3 months from now, so you better fucking learn it. I fucking hated school. And I feel bad for anybody that takes that shit seriously, because that is just a box for beating all the creativity out of us as young as possible, so we conform to that system that says that having a job and having a family by 30 and having a mortgage and being married, that's the goal for living a happy life. And if you're not doing that, then you're failing. That's all part of that system. So the other thing, there's 12 of you that are here in the chat. Be careful, because if you're like me, then you were raised in public school, and there's a lot of shit that you might think about the world that may be incorrect, because they tried to teach us that a bunch of malnourished, underappreciated fucking slaves out in Egypt carted these huge rocks that were hundreds of tons, hundreds of miles in the desert to build the pyramids. Nah, there's no way. Because here's the thing, we can't even recreate that today with our own technology. So you're going to tell me that all those slaves back then, that's what put it together? Nah, they had some shit that we can't even fathom today. And so that was something that I actually brought up to one of my buddies here that he started looking into, because he was like, what the fuck? But old technology is very much sought after, and I think I may have talked about it very early in the stream, but one thing that you guys can look up, and I think it's very interesting, is that Saddam Hussein got it into his head at some point during his reign that he was like the great-great-great-grandson of Nebuchadnezzar, which is a biblical figure. And the other thing that's kind of crazy is that he actually found the remnants of the city of Babylon. And when he started digging it up, we all of a sudden decided that he had weapons of mass destruction and we needed to investigate and fucking go find him in that hole that he decided to put himself in. So I think it's kind of gnarly that, as many people would like to say that the Bible isn't true, or that it's all mythology and allegory, there almost seems to be a race between all of the world powers for ancient technology, and some of that has to do with the Bible. And this is all shit that you can look up, because literally when Saddam Hussein started digging up Babylon and rebuilding it, he was putting new bricks down that said he was the great-great-great-grandson of Nebuchadnezzar. And you could just type in, so if you want to see what the fuck I'm talking about, you could literally, if you're watching me on your computer right now, open up another tab, go to your Google search, and just type in Saddam Hussein bricks. 3 words, Saddam Hussein bricks. And literally the bricks that he fucking made that said that were inscribed with the fucking claim that he's the great-great-grandson of some biblical figure, you can look at them, because they're there. MedTHC Ontario is 3 a.m. where he is. Much love, fam. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great day at work tomorrow. Much love from the Valley out in Cali. But yeah, it's, my little brother says, what a coincidence. It's weird. It's kind of weird. But that shit happened. That's part of history. You can look it up. It's there. He even had, so there's money that was minted with his face right next to Nebuchadnezzar's. Like, this is shit that has happened in history, and you can look it up. It's not, I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. You can look it up. So I'll leave it at that. And we will take another dab. We are coming up on an hour and 10 minutes. Much love to the 13 homies that I got in the chat. What's going on, 13 homies? Hope you guys are all having a great weekend. I'm just chilling with Dukan. Where's he at? Where's he at? Hi, good boy. Oh, little wiggly butt.
You saw hands. Stop.
You saw my hands. Come on. Jesse says they started with step pyramid and failed many times. I'm sure they were witches in Egypt, but I see no evidence of alien contact, to be honest. Okay, so Jesse, what I would say is that I don't believe that there was alien contact either. It has more to do with fallen angels than it does aliens. But and even giants, because there's hieroglyphics of giants in Egypt. But there is some crazy stuff that I've seen, like as far as being on social media. I've noticed that there's this post that's gone around that has the pyramids of Giza lined up, and then it has the like kind of a little snapshot of the main components of a motherboard. And they have them right next to each other and they look exactly the same. So I think it's interesting that there's something about ancient technology and like the transfer of power or the generation of power. There's something that has to do with electrical power that the ancients understood very, very well, and they used on a massive scale. And Egypt is a great example, because the Great Pyramid of Giza, when it was actually completed in its full form, was lined in limestone and capped in gold. And that's very conductive as far as electricity is concerned, not to mention that it was also built over an aquifer of water. So I think that any myths about those pyramids being some kind of burial site, that is the explanation that the public gets. I think that people that actually understand like ancient Egyptian culture, or people that are maybe Egyptian and they have like an insight into their culture a little bit deeper than an outsider like an American would, they understand that there's a level of technology that we've lost that they used to employ. And I mean, they were really smart folks. So, I think, because I think I said this earlier in the stream, but one of the things, or actually I think that's what I was saying in regards to Saddam, is there seems to be this race for ancient technology, and wherever it gets found, there's conflict there, because people want to either control that technology or they want to control the site where they found it. But I think that at the end of the day, what we get told wars are about, that's just kind of the surface level shit. I think for the most part, wars are usually about ancient technology. Binga says they knew all about frequency and vibration and how it can assist all life on the planet. Cheers, Brother Mike. Much love to you, good sir. Jesse says pyramids in North America using atrial buildings positioning too. Crazy how both did that independently, them demons telling them indeed. And so that's, depending on what extra biblical books you look into, that's part of history too, is that one of the things that we used to, and like we do that today. It was just one of the first versions of the slave trade. And not everyone's going to agree or believe that this happened. That's fine. But here's the thing, is that it explains a lot, and it does make sense because, well, I guess it just depends on how spiritually you look at the world. But when a certain group of angels actually abandoned their post in heaven and came down and took wives of men, it wasn't like they just took women. They made trades with tribes of men, and basically what they traded was forbidden knowledge. They taught us how, like, root cuttings. Basically, they taught men witchcraft, how to make weapons of war. They taught women how to do certain things like makeup. Makeup is a form of sorcery because it inspires lust, and that was something that was taught to our race of human beings by fallen angels. That's stuff that's actually documented in books somewhere. So it's just interesting to think about. And as far as pyramids, I've noticed, because the other thing that I was going to say is, aside from the motherboard thing, the other thing that I saw, which actually is true, is that pyramids look a lot like salt crystals under a microscope. And I'm going to be honest, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a chemist, so I don't know what what correlation or what importance that has with real life. But I think that it's interesting that something so small like a salt crystal that you need a microscope to see is something that we as humans reproduced on a massive scale, like a pyramid. And yeah, if you ever want to do that, just Google it, salt crystals and pyramids, and they look very, very similar. All right, so since my brother Bingus is here and it is a little past midnight, let's go ahead and take shot number 3. We got 14 homies in the chat. I should have called this conspiracy theory night or learn something night. I just wanted to call it like Friday night chilling, or whatever we did name it, but I figured we wouldn't stick to one particular topic. We would just kind of float around, and if it just happened to come to stuff like what I was planning on talking about, then so be it. And I will admit, we have talked about some interesting stuff tonight. We got some good info out there. So to all of you that are watching, I hope that you go and look into some of the many things that we have mentioned this evening, because we talk about a couple things. And I hope that it was a good conversation and you enjoyed yourself. And if you did, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know what it is that you enjoyed that we talked about, so that I can reference that for the next time that we do a live, and I can, talk more about that kind of stuff. Your feedback helps me a lot, and if I got 15 homies in the chat right now, I will just let you guys know, like, as interactive as you can be with me, I really appreciate it. So if you want to hear about anything, if there's ever a video that you want to see in the future, or have me cover a certain topic, then just leave me a comment and let me know that you want me to do that, and we will try and make that happen. Now, whether it's a video or a live stream, that's kind of depending on what the topic is. If it's smoking related, I'll probably just make a video about it. But if it's more esoteric, like what we're talking about this evening, then we'll probably address it in the live stream, so that we can have people actually comment on it and we can start a discussion about it. Having said that, I hope that anybody that is watching right now knows that if they have something that they would like to discuss, they're more than welcome to throw it into the chat. I try not to belittle or berate anybody for what they think, so even if I don't agree with your stance, I'm willing to have the conversation. I hope that all of you guys have a great night and are currently having a good weekend. Be safe. It is technically Sunday, but if you're out and you're having drinks or whatever, make sure that you can get home safely. If you can't drive, there's a lot of services out there that will take you home, so don't feel like you got to try and make it home. Fucking be safe. And having said that, since I'm sitting at home in my motherfucking office, let's go ahead and take shot number 3. All right, so that is officially the last of that smoke wagon bottle. We are going to need to pour just a little tiny bit of wild turkey on top of it. I got to... Okay, watch out. Good boy. I don't want to roll over your tail, buddy. Little tiny bit. Oh, that's more than a little tiny bit. All right, that's the last shot for tonight. That is definitely a healthy shot. Chef Life says, can you pick me up? Not right now, fam. We're about to take this nice fat shot. That's going to be the third and last shot of the night, because we're going to be nice and swifty off of that one. No, I knew you were kidding, fam. But much love. And yeah, that's the thing is, I know that you're a local. So If you ever want to chill, hit me up. 15 homies in the chat. What's going on, 15 homies? I hope that you are all enjoying the stream. Again, if you guys want to talk about anything in particular, just throw it in the chat. If not, we can just go with the stuff that I'm going to keep talking about. John Smith says, what am I drinking on? So we just poured the last of this Smoke Wagon bourbon that I have. That is 100 proof. I didn't exactly have enough for a full shot, so we topped it off with some Wild Turkey, which is 101 proof. But that came out to be a pretty healthy shot. So that right there is about a shot and a half. That's going to be shot number 3. So we're going to chill after that. We're going to pack a nice fat dab, and we're going to find something else to talk about. Now, I was going to hang out. We're at an hour and 20 minutes. My goal was to make it to an hour and a half, which obviously we're 10 minutes away from. So there are 16 homies in the chat. If you guys want to stay a little bit later and hang out for about, let's say, 2 hours, then let's get some thumbs up or some I'm down in the comment section. And depending on, let's say, if we get 5 or 6, there's 16 people here in the chat. That shouldn't be hard to do. If you guys throw that many let's do it in the chat, then we will hang out for 2 hours. But right now I'm thinking we'll probably check out around an hour and a half. Paul, how cheap are legal dabs for you? Well, that depends on quality, because I do live in California, so that's a legal state, and you can get them as cheap as $20 a gram. But the thing is that's going to be some bunk ass shit. So your question is, how cheap is good quality dabs? That's what I imagine it is. Because if you're just saying is how cheap are they, it can get as low as $20 a gram. But I can guarantee you that that's some bullshit, and it's just for sale because it's for sale. Paul, like, it might be artificially flavored, but it's still going to burn your throat. I wouldn't smoke it. Joe says, any tips for someone who's going to visit a dispensary for the first time? I live in a country where they don't do recreational, so I have to drive out of town. Honestly, fam, I don't really shop at too many dispensaries. I normally just get from delivery services. And so I would just say, if you know what you're looking for, then you're not going to have any problems. Didzaku, thank you, sir, says the geisha mats are thick. Appreciate that. And to anybody that is curious or would like to get some Dead Cynic merchandise, we do have Dead Cynic geisha mats. We also have Dead Cynic slaps. We got dab pack keychains, as well as some Dead Cynic keychains. All of that is for sale. Hit me up on the email or DM me on Instagram for pricing and availability, and we'll get some out to you. But yeah, Paul Furr, that's why I don't. And so you have to be careful when you ask questions like that, because that's super fucking vague. Like, I live in a legal state, so you can get dabs really cheap, but that doesn't mean that you want to get them that cheap, and I don't. Now, having said that, I do buy in bulk, so by the time my discount is applied, I'm probably getting it for around $20 to $25 a gram, but I don't buy a gram at a time, so it's a little different. We're talking more like 10 to 15 grams at a time, so I do, in most cases, get a bulk discount. But yeah, what it really comes down to, and I've talked about this before on other live streams, is really fuck all that shit. Try and get to know your extractor if possible. If there's somebody that's local that's extracting, try and buy from them and get to see what kind of product they're working with or what their process is, because the closer you can get to the extraction process, the better off you are, you know? Because there's a lot of fucking bunk out there, and you don't want to make yourself sick. You know, that's your hard-earned money that you're spending on what you think is meds. So don't spend it on bullshit. you know? And that's the best advice that I could ever give you, because there's all of these fucking little name brands and shit. They're gonna come and go, and some of them are even fake. Like, that's the problem with having a big brand, is that a big brand can be falsified. So, you know, a lot of people, they might make boof and try and pass it off as someone else's brand because they know people will buy it just seeing that logo. That happens a lot. So you got to be careful. John Smith, what type of bands you like if you're into rock? I am into rock. So rock and metal, I kind of lump them in together, but I think that, so between me and my little brother, Seven Dust and Alien Ant Farm are two of like our favorite rock / I guess metal bands, because Seven Dust does get pretty hard sometimes because they're fucking awesome. Alternative too, like Puddle of Mud, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I guess, yeah, Alien Ant Farm would probably more be like alternative. But then I have a taste for metal, so I like stuff like Chimera, Devil Driver, Nothing Face. Nothing Face is the shit. And if you've never heard of Nothing Face, I say look them up. Fear Factory, Static X. Static X is also the shit. And what's funny is that there's a really good, I actually made good friends with Brother Eagle from Eagle Gardens, because when I was on his episode of fucking Talking Shit with Eagle, I actually bonded with him a little bit, and I got him to open up, because that's the thing, is that he's a very good host, and so he's able to keep it kind of on who he's got on panel with him, and he doesn't get too much into his own stuff unless he's talking about growing. But I got him to open up a little bit, and he was talking about how he was a big Static X fan, and I even, like, he was inspired a little bit after that to play a little bit more Static X in his streams. So it was really cool to connect with another content creator and to have that moment with him. And much love to Brother Eagle. If you guys want to check out a fellow content creator, he is actually on every single night. He does a live stream. It's called Fucking Talking Shit with Eagle. He has a different person on every single night. And then he has a live stream after that where everyone that's been invited to his streams before gets on and you can just fucking hang out. So he's a cool fucking dude. He does cool shit on YouTube. You should go check him out. Fucking Talking Shit with Eagle. He's the homie. But yeah, all shall perish. Jeez. So here's the thing. You're asking me, so now I gotta go down my fucking list, because I have a hard drive and I can't remember all the names. So I'm gonna just open up my music folder. I'm gonna go into rock and alternative first. So I listen to shit like Aaron Lewis, Alice in Chains, Alien Ant Farm, Blink-182, Cage the Elephant, Call Me No One, Chevelle. I listen to Cold, Crazy Town, Crossfade. I listen to POD, Flyleaf, Foo Fighters. I listen to Fuel. I listen to Green Day, Incubus. I actually got to see Incubus live, and they put on a fucking dope-ass show. Jimmy Eat World, Lenny Kravitz. I listen to Linkin Park. Lit, just 3 letters, L-I-T, Lit. They're a dope fucking band. And if you like rock and alternative and you've never heard of Lit before, you're missing out. My Own Worst Enemy. That's probably a song that you've heard before. And you know what? Fuck that. I'll just play it. Because everyone, I'm pretty sure everyone has heard that song at some point or another. And we're just going to play that part. It's not like we're going to play the whole fucking song. So we shouldn't be copyright struck. But this is a great band if you like rock and alternative. And you should look up. So that song is called My Own Worst Enemy, and I highly recommend it to anybody. Let's see. Newfound Glory, Nickelback, No Doubt. I also was able to see No Doubt in concert before Gwen went solo, and that was a dope fucking concert. They put on a dope show. Puddle of Mud is the shit. Queens of the Stone Age, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Seether makes some dope shit. I'm gonna be honest, they've put out a lot of new stuff that I haven't heard, but like their first probably their first 3 albums I listened to, and they made good shit. Smashing Pumpkins, Smile Empty Soul, Soundgarden, Stained, Stone Temple Pilots, Sublime does some dope shit. Sum 41. That would be the rockin' alternative. Then if we go into fucking metal, there's so many. Like 36 Crazy, like most of Roadrunner back in the day was the shit. They had so many good metal bands, but Third Strike, yeah, 36 Crazy Fists, A Dozen Furies, Edema was a dope fucking band. And so before they replaced their lead singer, and their original singer just so happened to be John Davis from Korn, his stepbrother. So I got to see Edema live before they replaced that fool, and he was kind of the more emotional one that I think he wrote some really good music. So it was good to see them before they got rid of him. And that was a dope concert because that was Edema, Spineshank, and Powerman 5000 all in one show. And that was a dope fucking show. But okay, so Edema, All Shall Perish, Ankla. If you've never heard of that, that's Brazilian metal. Ankla. That shit is dope. As I Lay Dying, even though fuck that dude for trying to kill his wife, that was some crazy shit. August Burns Red, Avenged Sevenfold. I got to see Avenged Sevenfold before the Rev died. I've talked about that on streams before. That was a dope fucking show. They played a cover of Pantera's Walk that started a huge mosh pit. Bleeding Through, Born from Pain, Brother Von Doom. That's one that is really good. And if you've never heard of Brother Von Doom, I don't know how many albums they have, but there's one that they came out with that I have called Relentless. And that is a dope fucking album. So I would recommend it to you guys. Bury Your Dead, super dope hardcore band that I used to listen to a lot. Let's see, Chimera, pretty much my favorite band, hands down. Deftones are the shit. And it's kind of hard to place them because they do have heavy moments. I don't know if I would really put them in alternative. So they ended up going in the metal folder. But they're a dope band. I would actually like to see them live. I've never seen them live before. Devil Driver. I listen to Devil Driver, and I've seen them live, and they're fucking awesome. Disturbed, dope. Drowning Pool. Drowning Pool, before the lead singer died and they started their shit again with the new singer. I actually like the original singer. It's kind of shitty that they only got one album before he passed away because he killed himself. But that one album, Sinner, that is a dope fucking album. So I would highly recommend that to anybody. Drowning Pool, they're a dope fucking band. Dry Kill Logic, they're the shit. Amur, Fear Factory. Let's see, who else we got? Kitty, Korn, Cryoburn, Lamb of God, Limp Bizkit. Limp Bizkit has some dope shit. And that's stuff that I grew up listening to, so it's just awesome. Machine Head, Mastodon, Metallica, Misery Index, Molotov Solution, Mudvayne, Nine Inch Nails, Nirvana. Gotta have Kurt Cobain in there somewhere. Nothing Face, Pantera, OTEP, Papa Roach. Papa Roach was actually the first concert I ever went to. That shit is dope. Rob Zombie, Rage Against the Machine, Scars of Tomorrow, System of a Down, The Acacia Strain. Let's see, The Day Will Come. Threat Signal. Threat Signal is a dope metalcore band. Through the Eyes of the Dead, that's some heavy shit. Throwdown, another hardcore band that's really good. Trivium, 12 Tribes. 12 Tribes is a really underrated, I think, metalcore band, and they have like one of my favorite songs ever. It's called The Train Bridge. Unearth. Unearth is a dope metal band. Let's see, War of Ages, Animosity. That's one that my little brother actually turned me on to, and they are fucking awesome because they have a lot of different sounds. Like they can change it up quite a bit in just one song. White Zombie, you know, if you listen to Rob Zombie, you gotta listen to White Zombie. Static X, Wayne Static, just by himself, because he did have a solo project. I don't think a lot of people know about that. Whitechapel, Winds of Plague, Winter Solstice, Within the Ruins. That's a good one. But yeah, that's that would be the rock and the metal folders. AFI is pretty good. Joe, he listens to Chimera. His favorite song is 6. My favorite song is Pure Hatred. That one is fucking dope. Dead Zaku says, Dracula Logic, yo. Okay, so so Joe Martinez says Megadeth in Irvine, California. I can't wait. That's dope, fam. That'll probably be a fucking awesome show. Professor Ed says no punk rock. You know what, fam? I was never super huge on punk. It's not that I don't appreciate it. It's just that I've never really had it in my own collection. So yeah, I'm totally down to listen to it. I would readily admit that I don't think a whole lot of my early influences are super punkish, and I don't really have too much of that in my own personal collection. I agree with John Smith, though, because again, I do have an appreciation for it, and I can listen to some Sex Pistols. It's just not a priority on my music list. Having said that, guys, let's go ahead and take shot number 3.5, because yeah, this is a healthy fucking shot. We got 12 homies here. I didn't see too many people actually answer my request, so I think that we're probably going to check out around like an hour 45. You know what? I do have some Atreyu in the collection, fam. I would just say they're not, like, again, super duper high on my list. I do listen to them, though. Under Oath. That one, I've heard the name, but I actually don't have any of them in my collection. Are you listing off punk? I don't know if I would consider Atreyu punk. More like, what? New metal? Or another metalcore band? That's the thing, is I get lost in the different variations of how you're supposed to define metal. Like, it's just metal to me. Misfits, Sex Pistols, Descendants, Suicidal Tendencies, all good. Yeah, and so I'm totally down to listen to those guys, but I've never really put like money into buying their albums, if I'm being totally honest. And the more that I thought about it, I didn't think that the ones that you were listing off were punk. John Smith says Nirvana's first album is pretty punk. They definitely had some punky influences in the beginning, for sure. All right. Let's go ahead and take this shot, and then we will pack another dab, hang out for a little bit, and let's see. Yeah, we'll be out for a couple more minutes. I think we'll be able to take this dab. Oh, so I know they're not punk either, brother, but you're right. They had some punky influences. Especially, that's the thing, is Kurt himself, he was a big fan of punk, so, you know, he did follow that scene. Like, I think his favorite band was the Melvins. But anyway, I need to shut up and drink this. So we're going to go ahead and drink this. If any of you guys want to throw a conversation topic out into the chat, you're more than welcome to. We're just hanging out tonight. We did cover quite a range of topics. We went from certain aspects of mythology like giants to the Bible to conspiracy theories to music. Now we're talking about different bands. So yeah, much love to all of you guys. 13 homies in the chat. I hope that everyone is having a good, safe evening, that you guys are all having a great weekend, and thank you for joining me. You know what? Let's go ahead and pack this dab, because what's going to happen is I'm going to take this fucking shot, and I'm going to forget that I even was talking about a dab and be like, oh, I said we were going to take a dab, huh? So better to just have it already ready. Good size dab there. So got everything ready. Got about 5 minutes left on the stream. Cheers to all of you guys. Whiskey. Ooh. Might need to go grab some food after this. I recently found, my lady found out how popular Deacon actually is the other day. We went to Del Taco, and there was a lady who was working in the Del Taco who used to work at the Jack in the Box that I always go to. And when I pulled up and she saw Deacon, she was talking to him, like literally, "Hi, Deacon," like fucking good, like old buddies seeing each other again. And when I pulled out and we were going back home, my lady looked at me and she was like, "They really do know Deacon, don't they?" And I was like, "Oh, you have no idea. If I ever made a social media account for him, it would be more popular than mine. Like, there's just, everybody fucking loves this dog. And I will admit, he's the goodest of boys. He's my best friend." Hi, buddy. Give me a kiss. Yeah. Oh, okay, she's here. What's up, babe? Thank you for tuning in. I miss you. I hope that you're having a good night at work. But yeah, she got to see that shit, and it was funny because I deal with it often, but it's neat to have other people see it. But she was just like, "They really do know Deacon, don't they?" And I was like, "Yeah." I'm surprised that he didn't get a cup of whipped cream, especially if it was her, because that's normally what happens. But yeah, that was funny shit. And it's, I don't know, like, that's a totally different scenario, so I won't bring that up, but it has been kind of gnarly, like the social media thing. Chef Life says, "Nice. Do they give him a puppuccino?" So normally, yes. Like when I go to Jack in the Box late night to get some munchies or something, so even if they don't, when I go to Jack in the Box, I always get him one egg roll. And that's how that lady got to know him, because she worked at that Jack in the Box and she would be there on the late night crew all the time. So no matter what I got, I would always get him one egg roll. And when they would hear that, that's when I would hear over the little speaker, like, "Did you bring Deacon?" So when they knew that he was there with, and he always was, I would always bring him. They would give him, and it wasn't, so the puppuccino, Chef Life, like from Starbucks and shit, that's their own little special cup for dogs, right? When I would go to Jack in the Box, they would give this little motherfucker a full cup of whipped cream. And depending on who was there, like if the manager was there, then she couldn't hold it and feed it to him. She would give it to me. But if it was just like the late night crew, they would, "Oh, he's so cute," and they would hold it and let him lick the whole thing. So they fucking love him. He's popular. He's a popular dog. But he's a good boy. He deserves it. And man, they know him. And that's what was funny about the trip with my lady, is that I had no idea that lady was there or that she started working there. So when she saw Deacon and just started talking to me, like, I disappeared. She was just like, "Hi, Deacon, how are you?" And I was just like, "Oh shit, it's the lady from Jack in the Box." But yeah, she was so happy to see him. He's pretty awesome though, so I can't really be mad at that. I would be happy to see him again too. We're going on like 7 years now. He's gonna be either 8 or 9 in January. Random Andy, what's going on, fam? So he's getting older. I mean, he's been my friend for a long time. I've had him since he was 1.5 years. And I've had him for about 7 years now. So yeah, that's gonna make him 8 or 9. When I got him, there was no gray at all. That was all black. And that's how I know he's feeling it, because when there's no gel or anything in my hair, I look exactly like him. I'm salt and peppered the fuck out. Random Andy, what's going on, fam? So I've been saying this all night, but it looks like you joined right now. So I'm just going to tell you out of love, because you're one of our regulars. Be safe, especially if you're out at a party. If you can't make it home, there's a lot of services that will take you home. You can always come back for your car. We love you. We want to make sure that you get to the next stream safely and that you're joining us here. So just be safe, brother. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. But be safe. We worry about you because you're our family. That's all I'm going to say about that. Much love. Thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and take a fat dab. My little brother's saying I got a lot of gray as well, bruh, and it's hereditary. It runs in our family because Grandpa Ray, right? He had a full head of hair when he died, but it was white. He grayed the fuck out, but he kept his hair. So I think that it's part of our family. Because even Matt, our Uncle Matt, love him to death. He's not that old. He's super salt and peppered out. So I think it's our family thing. Like, you get to keep your hair, but it's gonna gray the fuck out. Random Andy says my dad's all white now. My cousin Eunice says, same here, got tired of dyeing it. I would too, fam. It's like, fuck it, it's there. It adds character. Don't hide it. I don't hide it, I will readily tell you guys, if I don't have this shit in my hair, you'll see it real quick. Random Andy says, my bro always been super salt and pepper since like 13, 14. And bro, it's like the weirdest thing too, because I'll have they're everywhere. Like, I've pulled white nose hairs out of my fucking nose. Like, they're everywhere. I pulled the white hair out of my goddamn ear. Like, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. But that's not what the stream is about. How we turn the salt and pepper in the end. And some people go faster than others. It's true. I'm 33, and I will say I think that for my age, I'm doing pretty good. This mostly still black, but there's some salt and pepper in there for sure. Mostly pepper still, but definitely some salt. And it's making its way through, and I'm only getting older, so it's not going to be long before I'm fucking talking about these older streams like, hey, remember when you couldn't see no gray in my shit? Now look at it. Like, we're gonna be doing that. Brandon Manny says, just turned 33 yesterday. Happy birthday, fam. Happy late birthday. Well, wait. So it's the 25th right now. So your birthday was the 24th. That's the same as my buddy. And also, is my lady still here? Is Marina Lemon still in the chat? Because if she is, I need to tell her happy birthday because it's her birthday right now. So even if she's not here, we need to collectively, all of you guys now you know. So please, if you would like to say happy. Okay, so my lady is still here. So happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, my baby. Happy birthday to you. Cool. I'm glad that she was here so that I could do that. It was my buddy's birthday yesterday. It's my lady's birthday right now. And actually, I know my buddy's probably trying to get some sleep because he's been partying pretty hard. We're going to take one more shot for my lady. Because she's fucking awesome. And she puts up with my crazy ass. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. You have no idea what that means because you don't know me on the level that she does. She puts up with some shit. So, she's fucking awesome. And we're going to take a shot for her. And the next time that the fam Eunice Morales comes down, aka Leah Monkey's mama, the hand is going to be there with me because that's her alias. She wanted it to be Rena, but I'm going to, like, everybody originally knows you as the hand. That will forever be your name in my head. So you can request that it's different and that it be something else like Rena, and that's totally cool, and I will try and acknowledge it as much as possible. But it's hard to get past the original in my head. You're always going to be the hand. But yes, it is my lady's birthday today. She is fucking amazing. So if you have happy birthday wishes for her, I'm sure that she will be very glad to receive them. And we got 11 homies in the chat. I'm going to be checking out pretty soon because either way, I said I was going to stay for like an hour and 45, and we're only 7 minutes away from 2 hours, which was the other thing that I was going to do. So we'll just stay until 2 hours. Fuck it. Eunice says she will forever be known as the hand, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Be proud of it. Be proud to be the hand. But yeah, she's so she's at work right now. And I don't know if she's doing what we used to do together. Babe, do you take care of crazy people, or is it just a hospital that you're in? Because, and I'm sorry, because I should have asked you that. I never really asked you who it was that you're taking care of. Are you doing a job like what we were doing at Everwell? Are you taking care of crazy people, or is it just you're in a hospital-like setting? She's in a nursing home. Okay, so kind of both. Like she's around people that need medical care, but there could also be a mental health side to what they're going through too. So, all right, nursing home. Got you. She says, no, it's different. I got you. I got you. Yeah, because that's, if you're in a nursing home, all those motherfuckers are old. But on that level, aside from the medical care, there may also be a mental side to specific cases, depending on how old they are and if they're going through dementia and all that kind of stuff. So I get it. I'm not trying, and again, I'm not trying to misrepresent what you're doing. But yeah, working in a nursing home, you're still dealing with mental health. Absolutely. On a regular basis, I would imagine. Even if you're on the lake crew. So actually, you know what, babe? I've never asked you that before. Do you have patients there that don't sleep through the night that you actively have to deal with? Or is it, for the most part, kind of quiet nights and like you check on people, or you take people's vitals and stuff, but people sleep through the night? Or do you have motherfuckers that are like, it's midnight, it's fucking go through the hall slapping some pans time? But yeah, so for those of you that may not know, me and my lady, who is Marina Lemons, we used to work the same job taking care of crazy people. And Joe Martinez, as far as the job that I worked with her, yes, there were people that tried to leave the facility and were successful all the time. And the thing is when you're working jobs like that, there's all these laws and protections of it. So you can't, it's very, very specific when you're allowed to like physically restrain somebody. So if somebody wants to leave, even if you think that they might like kill themselves when they go and leave the premises, you kind of have to let them do it. Like, there's, even when you're in mental health and you're dealing with like seriously, absolutely fucking crazy people, unless it's a facility, because there are facilities that exist where it's like, if you act up and you tell one of the orderlies no, there's a shot that comes out of a case that goes into one of your ass cheeks and you're going to go to sleep for like the next 6 hours. There's places like that exist, but for the most part, every other place is kind of laxed on how they treat their patients. So, and my lady is talking about it. She says, at this nursing home, most of them sleep through the night, but I have to change every 2 hours. Some are like that, but my other nursing home, yeah, they like to go fucking slap everything. Not allowed to restrain here at all, and you learn to take the punches and kicks and slaps and spits and everything else. So again, you guys, this is someone, I don't work in that field anymore. I used to work with her in the same company. She works for a different place now, but this is what you deal with. You get hit, and just like she was saying, not even hit, you get spit on. People try and piss on you. Like, when you deal with mental health and you deal with deteriorating mental states, you deal with some fucked up shit. And so I have a lot of respect for her for staying in that field, because I couldn't do it anymore. Part of it was the way that the company was treating me, but part of it also was just I didn't want to take care of those people, because a lot of times, and here's the thing, there's jobs that you work where you get to see people's case files and you get to learn everything that they did. There's some jobs where they just keep adding people to the facility and you don't really get to know anything about them. You just know that you're supposed to take care of them. When you work in mental health, and I'll say this, and Marina, my lady, she can disagree with me if she wants to, but I'm going to say this as someone that's worked in more than one company dealing with mental health. You will end up taking care of people that have you will end up taking care of people that have abused other humans on some level. Now, whether that's raping women or raping children, it doesn't really matter. But if you work in the mental health industry, eventually you're going to end up taking care of somebody that's committed some kind of serious crime. And what's crazy is that the more that you work with people like that, the more that you see that they've developed this mindset for trying to take advantage of the system, because they know that they avoided some crazy shit by being able to claim that they're crazy. And I couldn't do it, because I want to help people, and when you start feeling like you want to hurt some of the people that you take care of because you start learning about their backgrounds, it's time to take a step away from what you're doing. And at first, I was okay with it, because not even the job that I worked with her, the job that I had before that was specifically the case that I was hired on to take care of. Is that when I took the job, I knew it was what's called a forensic case, where the people that I was taking care of, they had some kind of criminal background. And I did that job for like 3 years. And then I was like, you know what? This isn't really going anywhere. I got to go somewhere else. And I moved to that other job, and I found out that I was just doing it on a larger scale. I didn't want to work there anymore. I didn't want to work around those people. Like, I just fucking, I got tired of it. And part of the other reason, and I'm glad that my lady's here, because she worked with me, so she can actually confirm that this happened. Every other shift had 2 people. And as long as I was there working the shift that I did, I was the only one that was there. There was never 2 people on my shift. After I left, they hired 2 people to be on where I was working. But while I was there, I was the only one. And that made it just more stressful for me, because I had to fucking not just take care of, but in some way I had to kind of control these people, because they weren't all right in the head. And you know what? That shit's not always easy. But my lady, she says, I love my job. It's fun. And they are not all nasty people. See, that's great. I feel like the last job that we had, it was mostly fucking nasty pieces of shit. Joe Martinez says, when I was like 12, I came out of my room, and in my living room there was this old guy who kept saying that he lived there. I saw this dude with scrubs running outside and told him he was inside. It scared the crap out of me. Damn, that is crazy. And yes, my lady confirmed me. Yes, for the longest time, you were the only person on that shift. I remember. No, not for the longest time, until I left. There was no other person there. There wasn't. There was me and the med staff, but there was no other, whatever the fuck they called the floor staff. While I was there, I was the only one. Until the fucking knock shift got there, I was the only floor staff. And it bothered me, because it's like, this isn't safe. You know, like, outside of me just like, wow, this is kind of, I'm going to try and do it, but there's kind of a lot, like, this is not safe. And I tried to bring that up to them, but it wasn't until I left. The whole fucking time I was there, I was by myself. And thank you for acknowledging that. She says, no, you're right, there was not. I was the only one. And that shit fucking sucked. Yeah, I didn't like it there either. So I was glad to be able to leave. Like, I'm chilling. But anyway, we are coming up on 2 hours and 5 minutes, guys. I don't want to bitch about jobs that I've had in the past. I'm just trying to enlighten you guys as to what people in the mental health industry have to deal with, and some of the things that I had to deal with while I was working in that industry. And that's the kind of stuff that my lady has to deal with on a level. Thankfully, her job is a little bit easier now, and it's better, and she enjoys it. She says, okay, I'm going back to listening. I got to do some stuff. All right, baby. Well, I'm about to check out right now, so I hope that you have a smooth rest of your shift. I will be talking to you on the phone. Hope that everyone has a great rest of their night. You guys be safe. Much love from the Valley out in Cali. Let's go ahead and take this last shot, and then we will check out for the evening. I think that we had a great conversation for tonight. 2 hours worth. We covered a gang of shit. So, like, if you watch this back from the beginning, you're going to see quite a few topics covered. And I think that that's a good conversation. So I think that we had a pretty good stream tonight. I think we did a good job. And we will be back for more live streams for sure. Much love. And thank you guys for joining me. I really appreciate the company. Be safe. Again, I know that, some of you are actually out right now. There was one person that tuned in and said, I'm checking in from the car. Hey, we love you. Thank you for spending your time with us, and be safe. That's all I want, is just be safe. Be safe, guys. To my lady, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to be talking to you here on the phone in just a second. So let's go ahead and take this last shot of the night, guys. Again, thank you so much for chilling with me. We went from Saturday to Sunday. It is now officially Sunday, July the 25th. So, I will be posting some new content because we're going to get back to the weekly content thing on my YouTube channel. We just did that on Friday. Yeah, on Friday, we put up a video, a new entry to the glass shop. We're going to be getting back. So aside from live streams, we're going to be getting back to regular video content. There's going to be one video post a week. I'm also going to try and get back to one live stream a week. So we're going to have 2 different opportunities to see new stuff every week. We're going to have a video drop and a live stream. I am going to get back to it, guys. That's kind of what the plan was from the beginning. And even if I don't feel like it, I got to do it. So that's what I said I was going to bring you guys. And you know what I forgot about that you guys reminded me, and I'm very thankful and humbled, and I appreciate very much, is that there are people that look forward to the weekly stream, the weekly video drop. And when I don't do that, some of you guys wonder where I am. And just the fact that people are like, yo, where'd you go? I appreciate that. And because I appreciate that, I need to give you guys what I said I was going to. So we're going to get back to weekly content. I'm working on it right now. This week was the start of that. But every week we're going to have a video post. Every week we're going to have a live stream. We're going to get back to that shit. So thank you guys very much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope that you had fun. We talked about so much shit. It's pretty awesome. So if you're just getting here at the very end, I would recommend that you run this back from the beginning and tell me what you think. Leave comments. Tell me what you want to hear in the next fucking live stream. There's still 10 people here. So if there's something that you want to talk about in the next live stream, or if there's something that I didn't comment on that you were like, yo, I left a comment and you didn't see it, fucking let me know and we'll talk about it the next time. But until then, I'm going to take this shot and then we're going to check out for tonight. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your evening. Cheers. Much love from the Valley out in Cali. It is officially, let me just double check. Yes, it is officially Sunday, July 25th. So it's my lady's birthday. Make sure that if you're on Instagram, you wish her a happy birthday on Instagram. I will see you guys in just a couple days, because if it's Sunday, that means that we're starting the new week soon. And I did just promise you that there's going to be a new video and a new live stream every week. So we're going to get to that new shit, that new. We're going to get to that very soon. Love you guys. Be safe, and I'm sure that I'll see you soon. If not, I'll be talking to you soon. But seriously, be safe. Much love.